But to experiment with a family of techniques, okay, yeah, right. If I might kick this back to you if you just tell me KNN, but if you tell me clustering methods, okay, I could see that, right? Especially also, guys, remember we're talking about using ChatGPT. We did KNN in our last series. We got to valid KNN models in like 20 minutes. Your boss is going to know this, right? So they're going to say, hey, come on, you want 2 weeks to experiment with KNN? That doesn't make sense, right? So how about clustering methods, right? Like the family of it, right? What do you guys think about that? I think clustering for 2 weeks is a little bit more realistic than just KNN for those 2 weeks. Are you guys on board with that? Let me know. Let me know. While I wait for your feedback, I'm going to move on because I see a couple other submissions. So I think I stopped here at Lakshmi's submission. Yeah, let me focus on Lakshmi's latest submission. As a that's a good one. And then let me add this one here. And I think Rohan also had one. I'm going to rewrite this one just a little bit. All right, so I really like these last three guys. I think these last two. I added the third one, but I really like these. These are perfect. These are great stories. I would, if I was a Scrum Master, I would totally accept these. These are really good stories. So I love that. We're focused on visualization, and we're doing that for data-driven decisions, which is great, right? We should all be trying to do data-driven decisions. So this story here is perfect. Maybe I'd want to refine it a little bit, like saying I'm going to take the first 5 available data sets, or just kind of add a little bit more refinement to it, because visualizing data can be such a broad thing that could easily go more than 2 weeks. But overall, this is a great story, right? And then you're going to have your Scrum Masters add to that, right? Because, I, following the methodology, the Scrum Master, following the methodology, also knows that we shouldn't have those discussions in private. We should be having them with the client. So that's where I would add a meeting and say, yeah, this story did great work. And then once that sprint ends, you take that to the client and have a meeting with them, right? So great story. And then, you're going to have other people add to it because they want to build upon your findings, right? Which is obviously very welcome. All right, and then this one, as an ML engineer, I want to discuss model selection with the team so initial training and testing can begin. Perfect, right? You're gonna be open to the team's thoughts, right? You're gonna be saying, hey, we're finally at a stage where we're ready for machine learning, for modeling, and I want to have a meeting. I want to say, hey, these are my thoughts. What do you guys think? They give me feedback. We decide on a plan. You know, okay, we're gonna go in order of 1, 2, 3, 4. Let us know what you find, and it sets it up so that it's a discussion, so that you know the training can begin, but it's not actually conducting the training in there, right? Because to have those discussions and do the training in a single sprint is probably too ambitious, right? Too ambitious for 2 weeks. So the next one I would suspect would be, as an ML engineer, I want to take the agreed upon models and experiment with them so that initial findings can be shared with the team, right? So these are 3 great stories, right? So good job, chat. I mean, these things are great, right? All right, a lot of submissions coming through, which is great. Yeah, this is another good one. As a data scientist, algorithm selection, optimal. So I like this one, but yeah, so good job on this one, Usman. But I think we need to rewrite it just a little bit, right? Because you have the as a I want to, but you don't have the so that. But we can fix that, right? I want to do algorithm selection for the given problem so that we can ensure optimal performance. Okay, so yeah, this is good. I would probably want to define algorithm selection a little bit more, right? Because it's a little too broad, right? You'd probably, what would most likely end up happening is you'd have a report, right? Somebody would prepare a report on the performance of the models. And then from that report, you would choose the optimal model. So it's more like, one story is to prepare the report, and then the second one is to examine the report. But you're on the right track with the way that this story is written. So, I think you're kind of surrounding it. So I think it's a good one. Yassine says, I thought that specific methods are more preferable for all the parameter tuning and all. Turned out I was wrong. Or is that just for the KNN case? Yassine, I think it's just for the KNN case in this scenario. Because remember, we haven't done the tasks yet, right? We still have to do tasks. So that's where I would want to, that's where you would include the KNN, right? Because, we haven't talked about it. So also, like I said, it's also a matter of time. Like a project manager is never going to give you 2 weeks just to experiment on one type of model. Like they're going to kick that back to you. So it's really a combination of both of those. Not so much like how you were thinking about it. I hope that makes sense. It's not so much how you're thinking about it. It's just more about like, the time and the reasonableness to do just KNN in 2 weeks. Right? Because remember, again, you have an employee, you have ChatGPT. So 2 weeks just for KNN? They're not going to let you pass on that, right? Let me look at some of these other ones. Okay, I think Fatima is suggesting a really good one here as a data engineer to implement data partitioning in our storage so that query performance optimized.